A mum abandoned her 1-year-old in an empty house. Then a decade later, she confronted up to her actions. It all started when a Russian mum decided to leave her 1-year-old daughter in an empty house. This took place in Yaroslavl, in the west of the huge country. Yaroslavl is a historic city about 160 miles northeast of Moscow. We trust you discovered this video enlightening and accommodating. On the off chance that you did, remember to offer this video a go-ahead. Buy into our channel and hit the ringer symbol to get informed of our impending recordings. A neighbour heard the cries of the baby. At first he didn't give much thought and decided to carry on with his business. The baby continues to cry for days, but what makes it suspicious was what the neighbour didn't see was anyone entering or leaving the house. He also noticed that the lights of the house were never on, not even at night. This made him worried for the child, who was crying in his next-door house for days. He finally called the police to check up on the baby and what's going on in that house. The police found the house empty. The people who were living there took everything with them, except the baby, who was lying on the cold, hard and dirty floor with nothing to eat or drink. The house was so cold and the baby was not in good condition. It was clear that the 1-year-old girl was on her own for several days without any food and comfort. With further investigation, police found out that the name of the girl is Liza Verbitskaya, but they didn't get the information about her parents and their current whereabouts. Liza was admitted in the hospital as she was dehydrated, malnourished and needed medical care. The poor thing was suffering a fractured hip. Given her hip injury, the doctors were concerned that maybe she would never walk. They also suspected that the child had delayed development. As a result of poor health, Liza stayed in the hospital for quite some time. During the recovery of Liza in the hospital, a local woman called Nika was also in the hospital taking care of her son, who had just undergone a surgery. She was there 3 days and nights to look after her son. One day, Ina heard cries of a baby from the next room. She peeked in to look at the baby Liza laying alone with nobody around her. Her heart ached to see a little baby with fractures around her waist and leg, crying alone. She felt a pull towards the baby. She asked about Liza from the nurses, who elaborated the tragedy of the baby to her. Ina felt so bad for the poor little baby. She wanted Liza to feel beloved, as it was not the fault of the little girl that her parents abandoned her and left her alone in this cold world. She started visiting Liza more often, bringing her toys and food. She spent her time playing with her, and before she would know, she was already so attached to Liza. She felt like a mother to her. She was taking care of her son as well as Liza. But one day when Ina came to visit Liza, she found her bed empty. She was confused and scared. She asked the hospital staff about Liza, and they told her that Liza was now recovered and strong enough to discharge from the hospital. Upon her request, they told her that Liza was sent to the orphanage. Ina knew what she had to do now. She doesn't want to lose Liza, and she already felt a maternal instinct towards her. She missed her so much and decided to adopt Liza. Ina reached out to the orphanage and arranged for the adoption of Liza. After all the paperwork was done, Liza was finally able to move in with Ina and her family. By the time of adoption, Liza was already 2 years old. Liza continued to live her life with Ina being part of her family. Ina loved Liza like her own daughter. She loved her the same as all her biological children. Liza was facing some difficulties in social behaviour. She was also so afraid of loud noises, and she definitely was traumatised by the unlucky events of a very young age. She still wasn't able to chew food. On behalf of her hip injury, Liza was also struggling to walk. Ina was determined to give Liza all the love she deserved by taking care of her with everything she had. When Liza became a little older, Ina decided to send Liza to the dance classes, hoping the music and the dance will help her gain confidence and control on her body, awakening her senses. With the help of her dance class and the immense amount of love she was receiving from Ina and her family, Liza was able to be recovered as a normal girl. Although Liza was now healthy and was enjoying the love of her family, she still faced bullying from the people around her, as she had dark skin and her other siblings were white. She was reminded that she was different and not one of them. Ina, however, tried her best to motivate and encourage Liza, as she would always tell her to avoid those people as they were jealous of her beauty and how much her family loves her. It is clear that Liza didn't have a perfect start to her life, but today she is an inspiration for so many people. Liza had won many beauty competitions. One of her biggest achievements is winning Mini Miss Yaroslavo title in 2012. She practiced her dance and music. According to her proud mother, she is very talented when it comes to art. She was given an opportunity to become a model, and she pursued the modelling as her career. She is a teenage model and considered one of the most beautiful girls in Russia. She had become a star in Russia with her outstanding beauty and modelling. She became popular in Russia, getting attention of so many people, including her biological mother, who had abandoned her but now wanted to approach her. Although Liza was given access to her biological mother's information by Ina, Liza is still not interested to keep any tie with her biological mother. Now it's all up to her whether she wants to meet her biological mother, who abused her and abandoned her, and now came out of nowhere when she saw Liza as a star. Liza is a passionate girl, and she wanted to focus on her career. She is happy, and she felt blessed to have Ina in her life, who saved her and made her what she is today. Liza is a strong character who survived the tragedy and became successful in the very short time span. And Ina is an example of love and kindness she had shown for the little Liza. This story is a painting of harsh realities of the world and the kindness in the human beings. What do you think about this story? Please let us know in the comments section.